Hey, healthcare warriors, listen up. It is time to stop treating your night shift like second class citizens. Really, seriously, think about it. Have you ever worked night shift? Do you have colleagues and friends who work night shift? If you're on day shift, let me just tell you, we really do treat them like crap. I had the opportunity to work night shift last fall, 12-hour shifts in a place where I was a locum, and the locum company opted not to put me up in a place with a kitchenette because they said, oh, you have the opportunity to go to this one place on site and eat dinner until 8 p.m. Okay. Now, we were working in temporary buildings with no snack machines, no pop machines, and a single microwave to cover roughly 60 employees. Oh, and a coffee machine, but often no coffee cups. And no stir sticks, no spoons, often no creamer and sugar. The routine was that we came on at 6 p.m. and the day shift frantically signed people out to us and took off. And we often had 20 patients waiting to be seen, 4 or 5 patients that they were critically signing out to us. And one one or two pediatric providers, three if we were lucky, and our nursing staff. And the shift didn't slow down until midnight, long past when that place where we could get something to eat closed at 8 p.m. Oh, well, you can call and have somebody deliver. Every place that delivered was closed by around 9 p.m. And trying to coordinate a delivery when we were up to our eyeballs in patients was routinely not feasible. And since we didn't have kitchenettes, the idea of fixing something and bringing it with us was also not easy. I had just been through the pandemic where I managed to gain only 3, maybe 4 pounds in a year and a half. And in the 2 months that I worked there, I put on 15 pounds, of which I've finally managed to take off 10 in the last 6 months. And it's been a struggle. My point being that shift work can be extremely bad for your health, both physically and mentally. But the mentally we'll get to in another video, maybe. Most places make food much more difficult to get on night shift than they do on the day shift. And the usual excuse from administration is it's too costly for us to make food available to them throughout the shift. No, it's really not. Because by making food unavailable, you are exposing your staff to higher risks of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. And the long-term risks of that are much higher. The long-term costs of that are much higher than any cost that you would put into making food available to them in a staff lounge. Think about all the food that you throw away because it expires and you weren't able to sell it. Think about that. There are things that could be worked out that would make this food available to them, and you only need one person watching a cash register to be able to sell that. Granted, that one person does need their own dinner break and restroom breaks, and I'm sure that could be managed by a house manager. or one of the other managers that's working the night shift. It could be arranged. And the stress that is taken off the shoulders of people who are worried about something as simple as getting a meal, something as basic as having food available, reduces the moral injury and the stress that they're having to deal with on their shifts. Now, all of this, negotiating for this and setting the boundaries. So we have nurses who are having to set the nurses, phlebotomists, respiratory therapists, CRNAs, all these people who are having to set a boundary of, hey, I want food and I want it available when I have the time to get it, which may be a fleeting moment during my shift. Most of these people, their primary personality type is this one, and they're people who value things like authenticity, significance, including their own significance, teamwork, and morality. And if you're an administrator who's not acknowledging them, then you are letting them down on all of those levels. If you're a physician who's allowing this to continue to happen without speaking up for them, you are letting them down on all of those levels. If you're a physician who's also working the night shift, then you're someone who understands that it is logical to provide these services and that you can research a way out of it. You have the expertise to find a way. The problem is that you are, and that would put you in the category of someone with a, you can't see it because of my green screen, but someone with a green personality type is your primary code. Most likely. The problem is that most administrators, managers, middle managers, most people in the C-suite are this personality code first. And they're people who value things like credentials, titles, processes, systems. They don't want to change a system that's already in place because they feel that it's working. You have to, you being these two personality types, have to show them how it's not working. And you have to speak to them in the language of their personality type. My suggestion is that you first take the person in your group who has the highest title and the most recognizable credentials, and you go to administration with a plan in place, with it written out and bullet pointed as to how it's going to work, how it's lower risk to change the current system than to keep that system in place, how it's going to increase staff retention, staff satisfaction. And if you increase staff satisfaction, that's going to increase patient satisfaction. Or if you're not in healthcare, customer satisfaction. And how this, in the long run, is going to increase their financial bottom line. This is how you protect your own boundaries and negotiate successfully with them. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this, contact me personally, as I'm doing introductory forums in the next couple of weeks. And I'm also doing a one-day deep dive on July 23rd. I'm Dr. Nan Nessel of Beat Down Burnout. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you succeed.